In this video, I will present the main 5 takeaways from the 10x rule, written by Grant Cardone. The 10x rule is about pure domination mentality and how to be the alpha of the industry. The overall main points that Grant Cardone makes regarding how to reach extreme amounts of success can be divided into 2 parts: extreme 10x goals and extreme 10x action. There are a bunch of practical takeaways that can help you wake up from your slumber and make you reach your full potential. Let's see how. Takeaway number 1. 10x goals bootstrap your success. Maybe you need to find a job, lose 40 pounds, or find the right partner. Although these scenarios cover different areas of your life, they all have one thing in common. The person who desires them is not there yet. To achieve success, to accomplish your goals, often turns out to be much harder than first anticipated. This is because people have a tendency to underestimate the time, energy, money, and effort necessary to bring their projects to the point of success. This is the reason why goals should be set much higher than what you might be comfortable with. Let's say my goal is to make a buttload of money. So I set the goal to be the reasonable amount of $500,000, which would enable a decent level of living with a good home, good food, a nice vacation every once in a while, and some of those lovely Thai massages once or twice a month. But now, pretend that I would instead have set the target at $5 million. Now that is a buttload. No matter what I end up achieving, if I miss my target, which goal would I rather come up short on? You want a big margin of safety in order to bootstrap your success. This is a trick that is being adopted within sports, and more specifically, mental trainers use it regularly with their elite athletes. The athletes set out to become number 1, nothing else. Now, this might not always be realistic for everyone, but that's not the point either. The point is that the person's actions are then aligned with their 10x goal. And if the goal turned out to be out of reach, hey, at least the athlete ended up in 3rd place and succeeded to outcompete like 99.99% of all the other competitors. This holds true in business, personal life, or whatever. Set targets so high that even if you would come up short, you are still perceived as, and will be, a winner. Takeaway number 2. 10x action is required. Again, the amount of time, energy, money, and effort required to bring a project to success is oftentimes underestimated. When the miscalculation of the effort required becomes obvious, and it will, and you hit a wall, one becomes visibly disappointed and discouraged. This causes you to incorrectly identify the problem as a wall that you can't smash through, and sooner or later, you assume that the target is unattainable, and ultimately, throw in the towel. If you instead anticipate that the amount of work required would be of the 10x character, some setbacks are to be expected, and those walls that you hit will no longer be made out of concrete. And if this would turn out to be false, that there were no major setbacks or black or grey swans, hey, lucky you! By the way, check out my other video about black swans and how one best deals with randomness, link in the description. Regardless of how superior your product, service, or proposition is, there is always uncertainty, things for which you can't plan. The economy fluctuates, legal matters appear, competition makes your product inferior, you run out of cash, the whole industry becomes disrupted, technology changes, people problems, more people problems, elections, wars, strikes. These are just a few of potential unexpected events. Make a plan of the amount of action you need to complete in order to finish your project, with a margin of safety. Then multiply that with 10. There you go. Now you have a much more realistic number. Consider space travel and the moon landing. The fact that we can put humans on the moon and send freaking Teslas into outer space is mind-blowing. But it wasn't, and still isn't, an easy task. The initial target was of 10x character, and the amount of action required was 10x massive. To achieve greatness, your amount of action needs to be great. Takeaway number 3. Create your own luck. Having 10x goals, followed by 10x actions, will create 100 times the amount of opportunities any average person is exposed to. And the best part is, since you will be better prepared to make use of those opportunities, the amount of value following your actions will be unheard of compared to any of those average peers of yours. From the outside, this will be perceived as luck.
Ah, look at that dude. Just happened to be at the right place at the right time. If only I was that lucky.
What they don't see is the massive amount of action required to put you in that place to begin with. Take Tiger Woods as an example. No matter what you think of him, you gotta hand it to him. He's been extremely successful. But when just watching a specific tournament, one can perceive some specific shots as lucky. Lucky hit, lucky bounce, lucky roll, lucky whatever. But what isn't shown is the tremendous amount of practice. Thousands and thousands and thousands of hours on the driving range and millions of puts. So is he really lucky in that tournament? Or is it just hard work paying off? Or take 2 fund managers as an example, running 2 different funds. Which one will be more lucky, picking more successful companies? The manager who does 100 due diligences and company meetings per year, or the manager meeting and analyzing only 5 companies per year? Warren Buffett is famous for reading a tremendous amount of annual reports every year. I'll just leave it at that. Sometimes actual luck and uncertainty might have something to do with it, but it can't be calculated with. Besides, you don't see or hear about the big number of times the successful went for it and failed. After all, the world pays attention only when they're winning. Bottom line, the more actions you take, the better your chances of getting lucky. So go, take action, and create your own luck. Takeaway number 4. Fear. Do what you fear. That is how you will excel. For instance, I was almost freaking out when I put up my first video on YouTube. Go back to it and watch it, and you'll hear it in my voice. Fear is the great indicator of what you should focus on. An absence of concerns signals that you are only doing what's comfortable for you, and that will only get you more of what you have right now. Fear stands for false events appearing real. Use this frequently avoided feeling as a green light for what you should do. For instance, if you're afraid to call on a client, that's a sign that you should call that client. In fact, you'll be amazed at how much stronger and more confident you'll become. And everyone fears something in life. However, it's what we each do with that fear that distinguishes us from others. It actually works as a competitive tool, one that is for free and unutilized for the most part. So, bottom line, eat your fears. Don't feed them by backing off or giving them time to grow. Learn to look for and use fear so that you know exactly what you need to do to overcome it and advance your life. Takeaway number 5. Don't compete, dominate. Competition is for sissies. We've all heard the story about the tortoise and the hare. The lesson, of course, is that the tortoise wins because he plods along and takes his time, whereas the hare rushes, becomes tired, and misses his opportunity to win. From this story, we're supposed to derive that it's good to be a tortoise, someone who approaches his goals slowly and steadily. Bullshit. If there was a third player in the fable, let's say the Duracell rabbit, who have the speed of the hare and the steadfastness of the tortoise, it would outperform them both and have no competition whatsoever. The suggestion here is to approach your goals like the tortoise and the hare, by attacking them ruthlessly from the beginning and also staying with them throughout the course of the race. Take the competition to your playground, where you go all in with energy every time. Even if you fail, you keep going all in. As most people won't do what's necessary to be at your level, you will achieve great results no matter the field. And then, just keep stacking wood and fuel, more wood, more fuel, until the fire is so hot and burns so brightly that not even competitors or market changes or anything can put your fire out. These were some of the major takeaways from the 10x rule. So, in order to reach your full potential, set 10x massive goals. Doesn't this seem to be a reappearing pattern of successful people? Projects usually require more than you first anticipate. Plan for and deliver 10x action. When you are taking 10 times the action, soon other people will perceive you as being lucky. If they only knew. If there is something in the path to success that you fear, grab that fear by its ugly tail. Enhance the speed of the hare and the constant motion of the tortoise, and you will be unstoppable. Disclaimer: Norwegians watching this video. As I don't want to deceive anyone, I must be honest and say that I don't think that Grant Cardone wrote this book with you in mind. I've heard that he's writing a sequel though, just for you guys. It's called The 100x Rule. I hope you have enjoyed this video, even if you are Norwegian, and that it can be a part of enabling you to reach your full potential. Have a good one.